Welcome to Week 5, Season 5 of the CSL. This is the ace match between UMBC and George Washington University, GWU. And over here we have the green Terran player Ices was chosen by UMBC to play in the ace match. Looks like one SCV did just stop on accident from spamming S. His opponent is going to Bill Bizilber, the red Zerg player, spawning over here for George Washington University. His teammates have chosen him to try to win against ICES and take this game against UMBC, which is currently 4-0 in the group. Almost ready to go 5-0 if they take this match, so all of the pressure is on ICES. I think there's a rule, whoever loses has to buy drinks for UMBC, at least I heard it once. Ice is going to be checking for any sort of in-base hatchery, just making sure he isn't being cheesed, and Bizilber is going to be building a couple of drones here, going to open up that production tab for you guys, and SCV going to be scouting in the wrong direction right now. Actually, no, this is pretty smart. He's going to be able to come over here and see if that Overlord is here. I bet he actually knows that this is MLG, a Shattered Temple, so that there's no close ground spawn. But that's a really smart play there, checking to see if the Overlord has flown over to that location instantaneously, giving you knowledge of whether or not he's in this location or if he's over here. And it looks like the drone is going to be scooting in here to see exactly what's going on. A couple of drills going down on that drone. It looks like the drone is going to come over here and nibble away at that SCV. And it looks like the drone is going to lose, and it does get taken out. Bizilber is going to be denied any scouting information. That SCV is only 10 hit points away from death, so if another drone would get over there, possibly kill it off before it finishes that supply depot. No gas on the way for ICES right now, so it looks like he will be going for a pretty fast expansion. He is throwing up a bunker here, trying to get Bizilber to overreact, but it looks like none of that is going to happen. This bunker will be forced to cancel, and two drones trying to scoot out here to see exactly what's going on. That is a little bit of an overreaction. Two drones for scouting, and one is going to be pulled back. Looks like the other drone does take control of the Zelnaga tower. It sees that nothing is going down, and the bunker now getting cancelled. Bizilber, and it looks like there's a command center getting started by ICES. That's a little bit close to the wall. I believe any Zergling running up there will be able to scout it. The Marines in position to help defend against any sort of that trying to bust in. Looks like a couple of Zerglings are on the way for Bizilber, and as well as the two queens coming out. Gas being mined. Gonna get that metabolic boost eventually. There's also another barracks coming up. The single gas getting taken right now. Should be seeing a second gas shortly if he wants to do any sort of teching. The Marines are sitting on the edge to see if they can shoot away any of those Zerglings as they run by. Looks like one Zergling will be used for scouting, going to be running towards here. It looks like nice rally point there, going to prevent that Zergling from getting killed off. All of these subtle touches there to make your play all the much better. The Queen now beginning to lay that creep tumor. This is always good because in the beginning you don't have that much money. So rather than having a ton of larvae sitting by idly, you can spread your creep and get that great vision advantage as well as that speed advantage. And Bizilber did scout up there. He does see the command center coming up for ICES, and there's a tech lab coming up over here, as well as more Marines coming out. Another barracks is finishing up, as well as another refinery on the way. Roachwarren now coming up for Bizilber, so he may be going for some sort of bust. Not too many drones being made as of the moment. He's saving a lot of money for this early on in the game. Roachwarren did just finish, and it looks like 4 roaches now being produced. The next larva pop-off will allow him to produce a ton more of those roaches, and it's going to be up to ICES to scout that this is coming and to be able to throw down the adequate defenses as he is taking his orbital command and floating out right now. He does have the capacity to make those Marauders, so we'll probably see those get made real soon. Looks like the SCV is going to be advancing over here, and he will see all of those roaches being made, and we'll see what his response is. He does have 2 bunkers now on the way. Over here, the Marines have retreated all the way back home to help defend. And there is a factory on the way right now. The stim pack upgrade is coming up, as well as more Marines and Marauders now on the way, and there's that huge production coming off. More Zerglings going to be chasing after this in just a moment. There's the creep spread now advancing across the field. The Zerglings and Roaches now taking position in the center of the map. And now Bazilber adding on 5 more drones, so this is not a way to end the game. He just wants to force a lift on this command center or do a little bit of economic damage and be able to continue this game. And it looks like the Roaches and the Zerglings trying to get in here. It looks like the 2 bunkers do get loaded up pretty quickly, and Bazilber, without doing any damage, is being forced back. That's a ton of larva to have wasted on units this early in the game. Another bunker is coming up for ISIS. His stim pack is about halfway complete. There's a reactor coming up on the factory to switch over for the starport to be able to get those medevacs out onto the field. There's a quick swap over, and we should be seeing possibly a tech lab or this factory go unused for a certain amount of time, while ISIS gets up a really strong Marine Marauder force along with those medevacs. And it looks like Bazilber is going to be taking out those gold rocks with his early army and be able to take that economic advantage along with all of those gold minerals. Evo Chamber over here, as well as a Baneling's Nest on the way for Bazilber. No upgrades out of that Evo Chamber as of yet. Getting continuous and strong upgrades is always good when going for the long term of this game, and it looks like ISIS will be advancing across the field. A couple of medevacs along with a bunch of Marines and Marauders. Looks like one of those bunkers did get salvaged, and during this push I wouldn't be surprised for him to take another base. And there's a larva popping off, and a scan going down does see the Banelings on the way, but those Banelings will not have speed, as it has not been researched yet, and the lair now complete, getting a couple of those mutas out into the field as well. The one Marauder and one Marine being left behind, the Zerglings in position to deal with that. The creep thread along this edge, great for dealing with that. He does get a chance to see where the drops are headed, and it looks like the Roaches trying to chase those units out of here, and the load up from ISIS is going to be headed towards the back. Once again, Bazilber is being forced into a very pulled back situation where he has to defend all of these different angles. The Roaches up at the front, and meanwhile ISIS is now taking his 3rd command center. Looks like the drop off over here, a couple of Marines do get dropped off and killed. One Baneling did go off, and ISIS is continuing to try to press this issue here. Going to be dropping off in this corner, possibly take out a couple of those drones. And Bazilber going to be advancing over here. It looks like one of those gas geysers will go down along with the Queen, and ISIS needs to lift out of here as quickly as possible. Looks like he will just lose a couple more units, and Bazilber doing a great job of actually defending against that, but ISIS is pulling ahead with this command center. This is the momentum swing for ISIS, going to be able to get himself a bigger economy against our Zerg player, and he's also got the tech lab up, going to be producing sea shanks shortly. Another barracks on the way. He knows that his opponent is going this Zergling Baneling Muta style. He's going to be continuing to drop here, and Bazilber is actually completely out of position. A drop over here at the natural expansion. The Muta is going to be chasing after this, and down go a full medevac of units. Looks like the Baneling's Nest is getting targeted down. Will he get it? Looks like ISIS continue to target down, and that Baneling's Nest is completely screwed. The medevac is going to be retreating out of here as well. The Muta is getting into position, and they are targeting that medevacs right now. Looks like the Marines do fall down very quickly. One Marauder left over, and he will get cleaned up very easily as well. The 3rd base getting taken, as well as the destructible rocks finally getting cleaned up. A transfer of SCVs over there will give him the huge mineral boost, and the gold expansion being taken by Bazilber. Armory and Engineering Bay coming up for ISIS to be able to get those upgrades out. The Muta's trying to do some harassment, but the Marines are in a pretty good position. Oh no, almost losing that Mutalisk. Going to be headed right for the natural expansion, but there are missile turrets at the ready, and the Marines are actually pinning those Mutas in this tiny little corner over here. And the missile turret also taking out one Muta over there. The Marines getting into position, and those Mutas are actually stuck in one horrible position. Couple of Mutas getting shot down right now, and as soon as those Mutas fly over here, the Marines will be able to stim and try to take them out. There's another missile turret coming up for ISIS in this location. Oh no, losing Oh, almost losing another Mutalisk. Those Mutas are so red they will not be able to harass at all. The Zerglings, Banelings, and Roaches trying to push at the front, but this Terran army is just looking very scary. A couple of Sea Shanks as well as Medivacs in the air, a ton of Marines out on the field, and not too many Banelings, and they don't even have speed because of that pickoff earlier on. The Sea Shanks taking out a couple of those Marines, a couple of those Roaches right now, and the Mutas trying to heal themselves back up. But here comes the push out from Bazilber. The Marines are getting surrounded, trying to run back. A nice load up there, saving a couple of those units. But it looks like the running forward is not going to do them too much good. The Mutas trying to take out a couple of those Sea Shanks, but unable to do so as those Marines reinforce by dropping down. And additional reinforcements are on the way for ISIS. He is behind in terms of food count, but his army is much scarier, especially with those Banelings that do not have speed. Look at how much damage they didn't do right there. The Banelings not having speed is a horrible thing, and it looks like this impact going down on all of the Marines going to surround that army. The Banelings trying to get in there and to do the damage, but the Sea Shanks holding the line, and the Marines being microed perfectly, taking out all of the Zerg units. And ISIS is looking in a great position to be able to lock down this base over here. The gold base will get taken out, the Queen falling, and Bazilber trying to make 30 Lings right now, but Sea Shanks and Marines with Medivacs, it's going to be really hard to deal with that with just Lings. He needs to save those Lings as much as possible, get out Banelings, and wait for that speed to complete, which is now done. Scan going down, going to be able to clean up all of those creep tumors to prevent the Zerg army from getting all of that very strong mobility. ISIS securing a very strong position with all of those Sea Shanks right now. Should have a couple more units at the ready to reinforce at a moment's notice. And Bazilber actually macroing horribly. He's got 3,000 minerals in the bank, and that is not a good thing as of this point, especially when there are Terran units barreling down your front door. And another scan going down, going to be able to take out another creep tumor, denying that creep spread. And there it is, the creep spread receding, and the Mutas trying to get in here, but the Marines are in a perfect position. We'll probably see Bazilber trying to crunch in from both sides with the Mutas, and the Zerglings and Banelings trying to get those Marines to get killed off, because those Marines are exactly what's holding this position right now. The Sea Shanks do great against Banelings, but aside from that, Sea Shanks are easily taken out by Zerglings. +2 melee attacks on the way, and Bazilber finding the time and money to throw down that Greater Spire, but he just doesn't have the production right now to produce 3,000 money worth. I'd like to see him throw down a couple of macro hatches right now, and here comes a push forward from Bazilber, just a tiny blip on the screen. GG out of Bazilber. Ice is taking it very clearly with his Marine tank push right now. Bazilber has left the game, and UMBC takes this game 5, securing this match 3-2. Congratulations for UMBC, going 5-0 so far in the Collegiate Star League. Check out their website at cstarleague.com. And the sponsors Twitch.tv as well as TT Esports, making gaming gear for gamers of all kinds. And of course, I'm Aegis. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/AegisStarcraft. And please subscribe, and I'll be signing off.